Ciao, buongiorno, hello everyone. Are you ready to cook like an Italian? Good, because we are making a classic, very simple Italian dish, chicken parmigiana. It's all coated, put in the skillet, kind of fried, and then put in the oven, topped with cheese. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing and so easy. I'm Chef Jan Diatri, and I'm so glad you're joining me today. So here's how we start. I got some chicken breasts, and I pounded them out so that they're nice and tender when you cut. You should be able to cut them with a fork, generally. So I pounded out my chicken breasts, and now I've got a dredging station set up. And the dredging station is flour, egg, beaten egg, and to that egg I'm going to add some Parmigiano cheese and some heavy cream. So all of this is going to coat that chicken. And then the third bowl has breadcrumbs, Italian breadcrumbs. You could make your own breadcrumbs with some nice stale bread, grind it up, or you can buy it. And then the breadcrumbs right here. So, first thing you do is take a chicken breast, and you're just gonna dredge it in the flour, get it nice and coated. Then it goes into the egg mixture with the cheese and cream. You know what I want to do? I want to add a little salt and pepper. I'm going to add the salt and pepper to the breadcrumbs right there. It needs some seasoning. There we go. And then we're going to dredge that in the breadcrumbs. And I'm just going to check on my skillet over here. I have a hot skillet with some melted butter. Okay, and then we're going to coat this. Look at this. This is wonderful. Starting with the flour, so that gives it a nice dry surface, and then you coat it in the wet mixture and then in the dry again. It's a beautiful, beautiful idea for coating. Okay, once my skillet is hot, I'm going to put that chicken parmigiana right on there, and I will start with the next one, the flour. Get that really well coated. Back into the egg, cheese, and cream mixture. Boy, this is gonna be nice. Very simple. Coat that really well. Okay, and then it's gonna go right in the breadcrumbs. Love this idea. When I was a little girl, we had an Italian restaurant at Lake Tahoe, and chicken parmigiana was one of my mama's specialties on the menu. People love it. Okay, now I'm just gonna cook this up until it's got a nice sear, a nice golden crust on it, and then we'll put some cheese and some sauce and we'll pop it in the oven, okay? So I'm gonna finish these up. We will be right back. We're cooking like an Italian. Okay, I've got my chicken cutlets all cooked up, all breaded. Is it just me, or are chicken breasts gigantic anymore? Oh my gosh, they're so big. Okay, that's good for an Italian family, right? All right, now look at those beautiful cutlets. Aren't they gorgeous? Now what we're gonna do is spoon some, you could do marinara sauce, just a nice tomato sauce. You could do a meat sauce. Yeah, that's just adds so much wonderful flavor. You don't need a lot, we're just gonna top it. And with the parsley there, we've got that, the colors of Italy right on your chicken cutlets here. When I pounded out the chicken, I pounded it out quite a bit because I really want it to be fork tender. There we go. Made this sauce last night, so it's all nice and fresh. We've done many sauces on this show. Bolognese and marinara and Alfredo, and all of the recipes are always on my website at jandiatri.com. You should go there, grab a couple of recipes, and make Italian dinner tonight. Now I'm just gonna grate a little bit of Parmigiano on there, nice fresh grated cheese. And we want that beautiful melt coming off it when it comes out of the oven. but I'm not going to really douse it too much with the Parmesan because we're still going to add a nice slice of mozzarella, or you can use jack cheese. Both of those are good melting cheeses. Okay, now I'm going to just take a slice and put it on each cutlet. I've got my oven at 375. I'm going to go in there. Just what I really want to do is just get that cheese melted on the top. So here we go in the oven. We will be right back. We're making chicken parmesana. Okay, the chicken parmesana is out of the oven. The cheese is smothered and melty on top. It's got the marinara sauce underneath and that gorgeous breading. You know what? The next show I do, I'm going to do a show about how to cook while your mouth is watering, right? I tell you what, it looks so good. Okay, right there. And I've got some tomato basil, little mini baguettes from Strictly From Scratch Bakery in Arizona. I brought it all the way here because they're so good. All right, I want to just sprinkle a little bit, just a tiny bit of parsley on top. Well, that looks like Italy, doesn't it? All right, there is your chicken parmesana. It's something that you could make in about 10-15 minutes from the stove to the table, okay? Okay, we're gonna save room in our tummy because when I come back, I'm gonna make a gorgeous English trifle. Actually, we're gonna do it two ways. We'll be right back. We're cooking like an Italian. Okay, now for dessert. Today I'm going to share a recipe for English trifle. Actually, we're going to do two. One the traditional way, and then one that's going to maybe be a little bit easier for you using some store-bought ingredients. So English trifle is called zuppa inglese, and it's a lovely, lovely presentation. It's 3 layers of cake and 3 layers of fruit, and it's got a beautiful crema pasticcera in the middle and some Grand Marnier, and then it's topped with whipped cream. It's yummy. And then after all of your hard work, you go in there and you scoop it with a spoon and you ruin it all, but it's in your tummy and it's so good. So I want to give you a couple of tips on making English trifle. I make my layers in 3 different 8-inch rounds, and it's just a lot easier. Or you could make 1 cake and then cut it in 3 layers. I find it so much easier and it cooks so much quicker to do 3. So I've got my layer, the bottom layer, all ready to go right here. Now, English trifle bowls are very traditional. They've got the stand and then they come up, just really flat surfaces on the side. If you don't have one, you could make one. Just adapt with what you have in the house. So for instance, this is a parfait glass and this is a regular Pyrex bowl. So if you put the two together, you have a beautiful trifle bowl, which is exactly what a trifle bowl looks like. Or look at this. This is a top for a cheese, right? Well, and then I've got a margarita glass here. All I'm going to do is turn that upside down, put it in my glass, and there's another version, right? So there's a lot of ways that you can do the English trifle. So the first thing you're going to do is create the bottom layer. Set these right here. We'll work with this one right here. And I'm going to, now it doesn't really matter how you put it in because it's just going to get covered with fruit and cream. So I'm just going to set this in the bottom and I'm just going to kind of press it down in there. Just like that. And I'm going to kind of tuck in the side so that I could see the rim of the cake. And you're just going to press it down in there. So that's my first layer, okay? Now I'm going to brush that. You could brush it with a simple syrup, but why if you've got Grand Marnier, right? Or some kind of a liqueur that goes really well with your fruit. So I'm just going to brush it, and that is going to not only give it flavor, but it's also going to keep that cake nice and moist. So that's my first layer. Here's the biggest tip I can give you about putting together a fruit platter or using fruit. This is a big cater secret. If you buy a fruit platter at the store, you know that they look so pretty and there's not a lot of liquid and water running all over the place. That's because they cut the fruit the night before or even an hour before, put it on a paper towel. All of the water absorbs into the towel, but none of the sweetness. So it's a concentrated sweetness. So just because you think you're draining the fruit doesn't mean you're draining the flavor. So now I'm just going to start building my trifle. The traditional English trifle is kiwi and strawberries. And I'm going to do, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do it different. I'm going to put all of my kiwi in a row, just like this. And then once I get this on, let me get one that matches, I'm going to fill the inside with some, you could either do crema pasticcera, which is a beautiful European pudding, or you could just make a pudding instant or, you know, cook and serve. But I'll tell you what, this is just such a classic, beautiful dessert to take to a party or for a special event. Now, I'm going to put some of the pudding right in the middle, and you're going to have some leftover fruit that isn't used for the outside, the outer circle. So what I'm going to do with that fruit is I will just put it in the middle. And that way when you bite into it, you're getting fruit and pudding and Grand Marnier and layers of cake. Okay, now the next layer is coming out of the oven. I'm going to put the second layer on, and then I'm going to be able to put my strawberries on there. And then we're going to top it with berries. So let me go get the other cake. I will build it to that point, and I will show you how we finish off the English trifle. This is one way. We'll be right back. Now for the English trifle, I want to pipe it on top and make it look really beautiful. So I'm going to be using whipped cream in a piping bag, and here's my tip. Don't buy a 12-inch piping tip or piping bag. Buy 14, 16, 18. 12 is too small because if you try to fill it, then it comes out the top and you just can't control it. With a bigger bag, you can always cut it if you need to. And then a lot of folks have a problem trying to cut the tip of the piping bag to fit the tip. And the easiest way to do that is to just go ahead and put your tip in there, get some scissors, and just cut it halfway through. Pop it off, and that way your tip is totally secure and it's not going to go anywhere. And then you also want to have a glass or something where you can put your piping bag, and that makes it so much easier to fill. And then also you can just set it in here whenever you're not using it and it doesn't get all over the counter. Okay, so now I'm going to go get my whipped cream and my berries, and we're going to finish off the English trifle. So I'm using a little star tip today, and I'm just giving it a real pretty border. I'm just using whipped cream, and I've got some nice vanilla bean paste. So you want to just decorate it any way you like. And then what you could do is go in and create a little pattern with maybe a star pattern with your strawberries. Yeah. And then maybe we'll put a little bit of kiwi around. Just nice and elegant. So pretty. Boy, is that Italian looking, right? Zuppa Inglese, English trifle. And then the last thing I want to do is just finish it off with some berries. Put those all the way around the border. And I tell you what, it's pretty fun to put together and pretty easy, but once you dive in, please know that it's just going to be a big, spoony, yummy, delicious mess. but that is okay. Great. Now I'm going to finish this up. I'm going to get a few other items and I'm going to show you how you could make the same idea using store-bought delicacies. Okay, we'll be right back. So here are the two trifles. I work with a company in Arizona, strictly from scratch. They do beautiful pastries and breads, and they ship all over the world. And so I took their pastries, these are their beautiful éclairs. All I did was make chocolate pudding. I put the éclairs all the way around and I topped it with whipped cream, shaved a little bit of chocolate, and put one more éclair right on top. So if you want to do a trifle quickly, grab some store-bought delicacies and you can build your own. So I love these ideas. They're delicious, they're tasty. Make these with your family. I want to thank you so much for letting me share my Italian heart with you. You can find all the recipes, all the utensils and gadgets that I use, and more about my sponsors on my website at jandiatri.com. And I would like to thank Strictly From Scratch Bakery, Queen Creek Olive Mill, Armando Pasta, Arizona Farm Bureau, and FillYourPlate.org, iHealth Networks, and Bloomfield Builders. Thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you next time when we cook like an Italian.